Hello dear students, this video is the continuation of our previous video on transpiration. We had discussed up to measurement of transpiration. In this video we will begin with kinds of transpiration. Here there are three kinds of transpiration. This depending upon the aerial parts of the plant involved in transpiration, there are three types of transpiration. First one is stomatal transpiration. This kind of transpiration occurs through stomata, present mostly on the lower surface of a leaf. Second type is cuticular transpiration. Second type is cuticular transpiration. This is cuticular transpiration. Here if you see the structure of this leaf, the upper surface of leaf has a protective layer called cuticle. It is protective waxy layer called cuticle. This is actually to prevent the loss of water from the leaf by the process of transpiration, but some amount of transpiration is taking place from this cuticle also. That is called cuticular transpiration. This cuticle transpiration is not very much as a stomatal transpiration. Loss of water vapor from this cuticle is cuticular transpiration. Lesser the thickness of this cuticle, more will be the transpiration. The greater is the thickness of this cuticle, lesser will be the rate of transpiration. It accounts only about 10% of total amount of water vapor transpired from the leaf. Then there is third type of transpiration, that is lenticular transpiration. Lenticels are the tiny opening present on the old woody stem, means bark of old woody stems, and that also is responsible for diffusion of gases, means transpiration is also taking place through lenticels, and that transpiration which takes through lenticels is known as lenticular transpiration. Here one thing you have to keep in your mind, that lenticels never closes because they don't have guard cells to regulate the opening and closing. It remains open. It is found on old bark of old woody stems. Now we'll talk about the mechanism of stomatal transpiration. Water absorbed by root is conducted to mesophyll cells of leaves through xylem elements. Take, you can see this picture. Finally water comes here. This is the lower side of leaf and this is the upper side of leaf. Here upper side, upper epidermis, and lower side it is lower epidermis. And here these are placid mesophills. These placid mesophills are columnar in shape, but they are arranged very compact way, means there is no intercellular space between this placid mesophyll cells. But here are also mesophyll cells. They are called spongy mesophyll cells. Why? Because there are lots of intramolecular space between these mesophyll cells. You can see here in better way. These are mesophyll cells, spongy mesophyll cells, and lots of intercellular space. This one, this here. These are intracellular space in spongy mesophyll cells. And the intercellular space which is closer to the stomata, then that space is known as substomatal space. This is a substomatal space, means open space or intercellular space which is closer to the stoma, singular here stoma and plural stomata. that open space is known as substomatal space. So here this in mesophyll cells water comes, then it squeezes out and it makes a thin film of water on the outside of these spongy mesophyll cells. You can see the faces of spongy cells are exposed to open space. This face is exposed to this open space, this face is exposed to this open space, means the faces of spongy mesophyll cells are faces to open spaces, means intercellular spaces. ठीक है. Due to the diffusion, the water molecules comes outside the spongy mesophyll cells and make here one thin film. This film of water from the mesophyll cells evaporates and the water vapors get collected in these intercellular space. When the concentration of water vapor increases, they diffuse and finally they reaches the substomatal space. This is also intracellular space which is closer to stoma, and from here substomatal space, when the concentration of water vapor increases, it diffuse out through this tiny opening called stomata. In this way water vapors comes out from the leaf. Here also you can see these are spongy mesophylls, and this side are facing toward the open space. Here in this side of the mesophylls there is a thin layer of or thin film of water comes. When this water evaporates, it increases the saturation of water vapor in this open space, and when the saturation becomes higher, it diffused out through a tiny opening called stoma. Singular is stoma and plural is stomata. Now if you see this image of leaf, you can see stoma is given in downside, it's a lower side. Take here also in this picture also stoma is shown in lower side. This is because the lower surface of leaves contains more stomata compared to the upper surface. This can be demonstrated by one experiment. This experiment is cobalt chloride paper experiment. Here we can demonstrate, we can show the lower surface of leaf contain more stomata compared to the upper surface of the leaf. For that we will take this strips of cobalt chloride paper, 2 pieces of cobalt chloride paper. When dry, cobalt chloride paper is blue in color. When exposed to moisture, these chloride cobalt chloride paper turn pink. So we will take 2 pieces of cobalt chloride paper, and in the leaf which is attached to the parent plant, means we will not plug it from the plant, it remain attached to the parent plant. We will fix this cobalt chloride paper, one to the upper surface of leaf and another one to the lower surface of leaf. With the help of this glass slide and paper pin, we will fix this cobalt chloride paper. After an hour, if when we will observe this, we will find that the lower cobalt chloride paper or the cobalt chloride paper which was fixed at the lower side of leaves get pinkier faster compared to the upper one. It means there is more transpiration under surface of the leaves, thus cause the cobalt chloride paper turn pink faster compared to the upper surface area. In this way we can prove this, the upper surface area of the leaves contain less stomata and lower surface of leaves contain more stomata. In other way we can say there is more transpiration through under surface of leaf compared to the upper surface of leaf. Now here we will talk about stomatal regulation of transpiration. Transpiration occurs as long as the stomata are open, but it closes when they are closed, means when stomatas are closed. During the daytime, stomata opens for transpiration of water molecules and intake of carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. The opening and closing of stomata is regulated by the amount of water and solute present in the guard cell. When there is enough water in the guard cell, here you can see this one is a guard cell. When enough water is there in the guard cells becomes turgid, and this creates osmotic pressure, and it makes this small hole, that is stoma, open. If for any reason the amount of water decreased in this guard cell or the amount of solute decreased in this guard cell, it's not able to maintain its rigidity, so it becomes flaccid and resulted into the closing of guard cell. More detailed account of closing and opening mechanism of guard cell you will study in chapter photosynthesis. Now during the hot summer day, during midday, you have seen most probably the leaves wilt. This is because the rate of transpiration is higher than the rate of absorption. Due to that, the guard cell is not getting enough amount of water, and it cannot maintain the turgidity and becomes flaccid, resulted into the wilting of leaves. But in evening or at night, the stomata constricted and check the transpiration, means there is no transpiration at night. So the leaves reacquired its turgidity and stand out erect. Here one thing I want to tell you, that stomatal transpiration can be regulated by the plants by adjusting the size of stomata, which is not possible in cuticular transpiration and lenticular transpiration. Now we will discuss the factors that affects transpiration. There are both factors, external factors as well as internal factors. Most of the external factors affect the rate of transpiration, and only one internal factor, that is content of water in the leaves, affect the rate of transpiration. So here first factor that affect the rate of transpiration is intensity of light. This more transpiration is taking place at the daytime. When light is enough during the daytime, stomata opens to facilitate the transpiration, means diffusion of gases. More light, more transpiration. Take less light, less transpiration. Now second factor that affect the rate of transpiration is temperatures. Here increase in temperatures allows more water to evaporate. It means if temperature is high, the rate of transpiration is also very high. The third factor that affects the transpiration is velocity of wind. greater or the faster the velocity of wind, greater is the rate of transpiration. The fourth factors that affect the rate of transpiration is humidity. When there is a more humidity in the atmosphere, means water vapors in the atmosphere is more, the rate of transpiration is less. Means high humidity reduces the rate of transpiration. The next is carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide also affects the rate of transpiration. When the amount of carbon dioxide, the content of carbon dioxide is more than the normal level, it causes stomata to close and it results into the decrease of transpiration. The last one is atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure also reduces the affects the rate of transpiration. When the atmospheric pressure is more, when the atmospheric pressure is more, the rate of transpiration is less. More atmospheric pressure decreases the rate of transpiration. Now we will talk about the internal factor that affect the rate of transpiration. The internal factor which affects the rate of transpiration is water content of leaf. If more water is present in the leaf, rate of transpiration is more. Reduction in transpiration is indirectly due to the closure of stomata also, and it is a natural mechanism for conservation of water within the plant. If water content decrease due to insufficient absorptions of water by the roots, the leaves wilt and transpiration reduce. Means when the water content in the leaf reduce, transpiration also reduce. Now here you can see adaptations in plants to reduce excessive transpiration. Means plants have got some adaptations to check the loss of water by the process of transpiration. First adaptation is sunken stomata. In some plant like Nerium, the stomata become sunken, constricted to check the loss of water by the process of transpiration. In some plants, the number of stomata reduces to check the loss of water by the transpiration. So they have fewer stomata. Some leaves becomes narrower. They becomes narrower and reduce the exposed surface area to check the rate of transpiration. Some reduces the exposed surface area by folding, by rolling up. This surface area when reduces the loss of water by the transpiration. Some plants shed their leaves, they lose their leaves to check the transpiration. And some plants, especially those which are growing in a desert, they have a thick cuticle, the protective layers that prevent the loss of water by the process of transpiration. Now we will talk about the significance of transpiration, importance of transpiration. Transpiration is very important for plant for three reasons. One, it's provide cooling effect to the plants. It creates suction force so that water rises up to the leaf from the root, and it also helps in distribution of water and mineral salts in the plant. First we will talk about cooling effect. When water evaporates from the surface of leaves, it reduces the temperatures of the leaves, and hence the plant give cooling effect to the plant. Cooling effect is very important for the plant, especially on hot sunny day, because if temperature is very high, it may destroy the enzymes in the plants. Now the second important significance is suction force. That is, plant build suction force due to this transpiration. When water evaporates from the surface of leaf, it pulls the water molecules just within it. So in this way, water molecules is pulled from the root to the leaves. This suction force which build due to the transpiration is very important for the upward movement of sap or upward movement of water. When it absorbed from the root and finally it evaporates from the surface of leaves, it brings water and minerals along with it and helps in distribution of water and mineral salt to all parts of the plant. Now we will talk about transpiration affects climates. Especially transpiration brings rain, because when transpiration occurs, it leaves or it gives out more water vapor into the atmosphere. When this water vapor in the atmosphere condense, they forms cloud and bring rain. In this way, transpiration affects climate also. It helps to bring rain. That's why you might have experienced that the region which is covered with forest experiences more rainfall because of more water vapors given in the atmosphere. Now we will talk about guttation and bleeding. This guttation and bleedings are the two processes by which loss of water is taking place through the plant. First we will talk about guttation. This takes place in a small plant, herbaceous plant, especially at hot, humid night. The exudation of the oozing out of water from the vein of the leaves is known as guttation. Here in guttation, water comes out from the vein of the leaves in the form of droplets of water when the root pressure is very high. So what is guttation? Guttation is the loss of water from the surface of leaf during a hot and humid night or in early morning. This takes place in small plants only, herbaceous plants only. There are very small tiny holes through which this water comes out. That tiny holes through which guttation is taking place is known as hydatodes. Hydatodes present on the veins of the leaves through which water comes out. Now the next is bleeding. Bleeding is the process of loss of water from the injured part of the plant or ruptured part of the plant. When plant is cut, the cell sap comes out. This is known as bleeding. So bleeding is the loss of cell sap or water from the injured part of the plant or cut part of the plant, ruptured part of the plant. Now dear children, hopefully you have understood all this chapter what I have taught. In our next video we will meet again. Thank you very much.